Hello, and welcome to today's webinar. Today, we will cover what to do after being approved for retirement. My name is Senior Airman Dunn.
And I'm Staff Sergeant Bird.
We will serve as your narrators today. Today's briefing is designed for Lieutenant Colonels and below who are approved for non-disability retirements. If you have any questions, please make note of them, and we will take time at the end of the session to ask you. Additionally, if you are pending retirement action under the Disability Evaluation System, please contact the Air Force Personnel Center Disability Division for information regarding your retirement process. Colonels and Colonel Select should contact the Air Force Colonels Group for assistance with their applications. Throughout this briefing, we will mention the Retirement Approval Authority for Chief Master Sergeants and Chief Selects who require a waiver or wish to change their retirement dates. The Approval Authority is the Chiefs Group. For all others, the Approval Authority is the AFPC Retirements Branch.
Today we'll go over what you can expect after your retirement is approved. We will talk about items such as retirement application approval message, retirement orders, travel orders for members retiring from overseas, the process for requesting retirement date changes or withdrawals, relocation processing requirements such as the initial retirement relocation briefing, along with assistant resources like the Transition Assistance Program. Then we'll discuss some general information on retirement pay, permissive TDY and terminal leave, the Skillbridge program, and end with the DD-214 process. Now that you have a brief description on what we'll be covering, let's get started.
When your retirement application was approved, you received a message like the example shown on the slide. It contains a link to a lengthy article in MyPers, and it is vital that you read it all, as it contains instructions on what to do after approval. Some of the key items mentioned in this article are how to obtain your retirement orders, completion of the DD Form 214 worksheet, information about your retirement pay, and the initial retirement process briefing. Additionally, it is vital that you maintain accurate contact information throughout the process. Please be sure to include an accurate forwarding address for your 214 worksheet in case we need to contact you for following your retirement. Again, it is very important that you read an approval notification in MyPers article thoroughly, as it will prepare you for your retirement.
This slide shows an example of what the briefing looks like. You will have to click on each individual link and review the information. Remember, the briefing is mandatory for all retiring members. It is important to read the entire briefing as it contains vital information for all your out-processing requirements and preparations for transition to civilian life. Be sure to print the completion certificate statement and provide a copy to your military personnel flight or MPF at your final out-processing appointment. Finally, contact your MPF as soon as you are approved for retirement to determine what their requirements are and initiate the virtual out-processing checklist.
Typically, once your retirement is approved, you can expect to receive your retirement order from your local MPF within 24 hours. Your retirement order should also be available in your PRADA record within 2 duty days of approval. If you do not receive your retirement order at least 60 days prior to your projected departure date, you should contact the Total Force Service Center for assistance.
Here is an example of a retirement order. Your order is the authority for your retirement. Therefore, it is essential that it is correct and that you safeguard it upon receipt. The retirement order, in conjunction with your DD Form 214, Certificate of Release or Discharge from Active Duty, are required for certain entitlements, such as compensation from the Department of Veteran Affairs and other things like property tax exemptions. Please review your order and ensure 100% accuracy. If you see anything wrong, please contact the Total Force Service Center for assistance.
If you are retiring from overseas area, you will also receive another order or an amendment to your original order, which authorizes travel for your command-sponsored family members. This order is required for you to obtain tickets or arrange household goods shipments from the overseas area. The Tier 1 retirements team prepares these orders approximately 180 days prior to retirement and will send you the copy through virtual MPF. If you haven't received this travel authorization by then, please contact the TFSC for assistance. A special authorization is not required for family members if you are retiring from the CONUS. You can use your current PCS orders or DEERs with printout when filing your travel voucher to obtain reimbursement for your family members.
With the creation of the virtual MPF, nearly all members retiring from overseas can now complete processing prior to departing the overseas area. However, there may be times when you are required to travel to an Air Force base in the United States to complete your final actions. Requests for this travel may be approved if you are stationed at a location where processing facilities don't exist and it is not feasible for your commander to send you on temporary duty to a nearby installation for complete processing. In very rare cases, if you are stationed at a location where facilities do exist, you may request travel to a separation processing base in the United States when you provide documentation to show you are experiencing a unique personal hardship or that it would be in the best interest of the Air Force. You must submit a request for travel to a separation processing base at least 60 days prior to departure. Examples of the request and the required justification are outlined in the Personnel Services Delivery Guide on the Separation Processing Base program at the link shown on this slide. You can also contact the Total Force Service Center for assistance.
Some of you may experience issues after approval that may require changing your retirement date or canceling the retirement application altogether. Many actions begin once your retirement is approved, including identification and movement of your replacement. Because these actions are irrevocable, changes or cancellations are done only under extreme circumstances. Requests for date changes or cancellations must be fully justified and may be approved when you are experiencing an extreme personal hardship that occurred or worsened after approval of your retirement. Requests may also be approved when documentation shows it would be in best interest of the Air Force. Finally, requests may be approved if you are selected and notified of a promotion after initial approval. Please note that the date changes are not approved for common personal issues like alignment with civilian employment opportunities. Since these requests can take 4 to 6 weeks to process, it is important that you submit a date change or cancellation request to the virtual MPF as soon as you are aware of the circumstances.
For many of you, the next step is to begin your out-processing actions. There are several requirements you must complete prior to departing on permissive TDY or terminal leave. As we mentioned before, these requirements are outlined in the retirement approval article on the MyPERS website. If you have trouble accessing the information through the approval memorandum, you can also access it through the virtual MPF. You must also contact your military personnel flight to have them load your virtual out-processing checklist, as well as establish your final out-processing appointment. The MPF will assist you with any processing issues you may have. Other assistance programs exist, including the Transition Assistance Program, TAP, sponsored by your Airmen and Family Readiness Center. Other helpful sources, such as the Department of Veteran Affairs, are also available. If you haven't attended a TAP briefing, we recommend you sign up as soon as possible. We'll cover more on these resources in a few minutes.
In addition to the online briefing, there are several transition services available to individuals who are retiring. The redesigned Transition Assistance Program, initiated by the Veterans Opportunity to Work Act of 2011 and the Veterans Employment Initiative, requires that four mandates be completed by all military personnel prior to separation or retirement. The first step in the transition process should be the completion of the DoD pre-separation counseling. Pre-separation counseling is a congressionally mandated briefing that will provide you with the information on the various briefings, rights, and services that help you identify your needs and develop a personal plan for securing the assistance to meet those needs. If you are anticipating retirement, you can begin participating in the transition process as soon as 24 months preceding the anticipated retirement date. However, pre-separation counseling must commence no later than 90 days before your discharge or separation. The transition GPS workshop should be the next step in the process. This is the only mandate that has allowable exemptions, which are service members retiring with 20 or more years active federal service. Service members with documented civilian employment or acceptance to accredited career tech training, undergraduate or graduate degree program, members with specialized skills which require deployment within 60 days, and Air Force wounded warriors enrolled in the Approved Education and Employment Initiative. Part of the Transition GPS workshop is comprised of the Department of Labor Employment Workshop and the Department of Labor focused on job-seeking techniques such as interviewing skills and building an effective resume. The VA benefits and services briefing is mandated for all personnel. Most Transition GPS workshops include this curriculum. If you are exempt from attending the workshop, you may attend standalone VA brief if available. The VA benefits and service briefing discussed as a VA representative will explain the various benefits you may be eligible to receive. Benefits discussed include disability compensation, health and medical care, education and training opportunities, home loan guarantees, and life insurance options, and other programs and benefits for certain qualified family members. Finally, Capstone is the accumulating activity to ensure you are career ready. As with pre-separation counseling, this is mandatory for all personnel and should be accomplished no later than 90 days prior to separation or as soon as possible for those impacted by force management. In conjunction with the Airmen and Family Readiness Center Transition Counselor, each commander or approved designee is required to electronically sign your e-form, indicating whether you are or are not career ready. Example, you have completed a 12-month post-separation budget resume as determined by OSD. Individual training tracks are available to help in your transition. They include 2-day courses focused on the 3 self-selected career paths. Accessing higher education for those presuming a college education, career technical training for those seeking job-ready skills and industry-recognized credentials and shorter-term training programs, and entrepreneurship or boots to business for those wanting to start their own business. Although you cannot start the transition process until you're 24 months before an anticipated retirement, you can, at any time, attend portions of the Transition GPS workshop virtually. You can find all the curriculum through the Joint Knowledge online website. Each Airmen and Family Readiness Center also provides additional services and activities that include classes and workshops such as resume writing, interviewing skills, etc. Contact your local Airmen and Family Readiness Center for class workshop schedules.
The pre-discharge program is a joint Department of Veteran Affairs and Department of Defense program that affords you the opportunity to file claims for disability compensation from the Department of Veteran Affairs up to 180 days prior to your separation or retirement from military service. The 4 components of the pre-discharge program are the benefits delivery at discharge, or BDD, the Decision Ready Claim, DRC, the Disability Evaluation System, and Seriously Injured, Very Seriously Injured, SI-VSI program. The BDD program was revamped as of October 2017, which now requires you to submit a claim no earlier than 180 days and no later than 90 days prior to your discharge. And you must be available for an examination 45 days from the date of the claim submission. The goal of the redesign to the program was to ensure you receive a VA examination while still in service and a rating decision prior to discharge, as well as being awarded VA benefits the day after military discharge. If you have less than 90 days remaining until your retirement, you may file a decision-ready claim, DRC. This program is a new option for service members who previously would have filed claims through the Quick Start program, along with fully developed claim program in traditional claims. You must work with an accredited VSO to file a pre-discharge DRC for VA compensation. The VSO will work with you to gather and support copies of all service treatment records for all periods of military service at the time the intent to file is communicated, and a copy of the DD Form 214, Certificate of Release or Discharge from Active Duty, for all periods of military service at the time the formal claim is submitted. If you file a pre-discharge claim, you will receive an opportunity to have an in-service medical examination, which may increase the ability to establish service connection for claimed conditions. Once you have all evidence, including your exam results, you may file a DRC claim as early as the day after you discharge from active duty. Each Airmen and Family Readiness Center has a local VA PLC to provide assistance. If you have questions regarding pre-discharge programs, you should contact your local Airmen and Family Readiness Center or VA POC. Veteran service organizations can help you with the preparation, presentation, and prosecution of VA claims. In essence, they work on your behalf for any matter concerning the VA.
Let's take a few minutes to go over some general retirement pay issues. Your final active duty pay will include payment for all unused leave, provided the number of unused days doesn't exceed the 60-day cap. All unearned final active duty pay will go towards any indebtedness to the government prior to being paid to you. You should receive this final check within 15 days of your retirement date. However, many pay transactions occur when you retire, like calculation of terminal leave and permissive TDY, selling leave back, repayment of any pending debts to the government, and so on. Because of this, your final active duty paycheck may be delayed, so you should be prepared financially in case this happens.
Now, unlike active duty pay, you will only receive retirement pay once a month. Normally, you can expect your first retirement check the first day of the month after you retire, your retirement effective date. For example, if you retire on August 1st, you should receive your first retirement paycheck September 1st. Many things we mentioned about your final active duty check may also affect the calculations of your retired pay, like debts to the government, acceptance of career status bonus, and so forth. These special circumstances may require the Defense Finance and Accounting Service to perform manual calculations of your retired pay to ensure accuracy. This doesn't happen very often, but this manual process could delay your retired pay 2 to 3 months. Therefore, we highly recommend you have a financial reserve to tide you over the 60 to 90 days in case there are any delays with DFAS starting your retired pay.
You're probably wondering when your last duty day will be now that you are approved for retirement. This date will be determined by the amount of permissive TDY or terminal leave your commander authorizes you to take in conjunction with your retirement. Permissive TDY is non-chargeable leave. Your commander may authorize up to 20 days if retiring from a stateside base or 30 days if retiring from an overseas location. The purpose of permissive TDY is to help in the transition from active duty to civilian status and should be used for things like job and house hunting. Terminal leave is any leave that you have earned and will be taken in conjunction with your retirement date. This leave will be taken after your final out process from your unit. Both terminal leave and permissive TDY are subject to approval by your commander. Your commander may authorize all, some, or none of your requested leave and permissive TDY.
When calculating your departure date, one thing to consider is that you still will be earning leave while you're on leave. You will incur 2.5 days of leave per month up to your retirement date. However, the same rules of leave accrual apply, such as the maximum amount carried over from one fiscal year to another. Currently, the maximum is 60 days. So if you are planning on taking terminal leave through 30 September, such as 1 September to 30 November, and you have more than the maximum allowable amount of leave to carry over, your leave balance will automatically be reduced to the maximum number of carryover days. Be sure to adjust your departure date accordingly to account for this, or take the normal leave before you outprocess to use any days over the maximum allowable carryover to avoid losing them. If you are on leave effective 30 September, your leave balance will automatically be reduced to the maximum carryover, currently 60 days, unless you are entitled to special leave accrual, SLA. You may not request to extend an approved retirement date solely to take leave that you did not account for. On the next slide, you will see an example of how to calculate your retirement leave.
In our example, Master Sergeant John Doe is requesting a retirement date of January 1st. This is how he would figure out his leave dates. Master Sergeant John Doe will have a leave balance of 47 days at the end of August. He will continue to earn leave all the way through December. By the end of December, he will have accrued a total of 57 days of leave that he will take as terminal. If the commander also approves the maximum amount of permissive TDY, in this case 20 days, that brings the total to 77 days. Then you simply start with the last day of the chargeable leave, 31 December, and count backwards 77 days. For Master Sergeant John Doe, his last duty day would be 15 October, and he'll begin his permissive TDY and terminal leave on the 16th.
The job training, employment skills training, apprenticeships, and internships program, also known as the Skillbridge program, is designed to prepare airmen to transition from military to civilian employment. Skillbridge Career Skills Program are vocational and technical training programs that focus on the practical application of learned skills and can lead to employment in a specific career or a technical trade. Apprenticeships are generally a combination of on-the-job training and related instructions that may be sponsored jointly by an employer and union groups, individual employer, or employer associations. Internships are a type of work experience for entry-level job seekers. Internships may be completed in federal, state, or local government, or in private sectors, and may consist of OJT and work experience. On-the-job training provides job skills learned at a place of work while performing the actual job. More information on this program is available on the MyPERS website at the link shown on the slide.
Your local education and training office manages the Skillbridge program and can provide you additional information on the application process, as well as list of approved programs. You may, if desired, initiate a request after you're approved for retirement, but at least 30 days prior to the start of your requested program start date. You'll need to provide a copy of your retirement order to the Education Center for update in the Skillbridge program database. Your unit commander or civilian leader must approve participation in the Skillbridge program, but there is no guarantee of approval since participation will depend on your unit's specific manning situation and mission requirements. We highly encourage that you discuss your desires with your commander or civilian leader before applying.
Additionally, Skillbridge programs are normally located within 50 miles of your current location or residence. However, your commander may approve an alternate location. The total amount of time you can spend in a Skillbridge program will depend upon mission requirements, as well as whether or not you will be taking permissive TDY and terminal leave. The total time in a Skillbridge program plus permissive TDY plus terminal leave cannot exceed a total of 180 days. Permissive TDY must be taken prior to or after participation in the program. Terminal leave may be taken concurrently with the Skillbridge program. However, the total number of days away from your unit cannot exceed 180. If you take terminal leave concurrently with the Skillbridge program, you will complete your final out processing prior to your departure date. Please contact your education and training office for more information on this program.
Now, let's go over the 214 process. The DD Form 214, Certificate of Release or Discharge from Active Duty, is not intended to be a comprehensive resume. Rather, it is simply a document issued to you to verify your numbers of years served, characterization of service, separation code, and reentry code, if applicable, professional military education, training related to primary duties, and decorations you received. For resume purposes, we highly recommend that you secure a copy of your verification of military experience and training, or VMET, at the link shown on the slide. The VMET is a great tool, written in civilian-friendly terms, to use when writing a resume. You can also provide prospective employers with photocopies of your training certificates if needed. When the DD-214 initially populates in VMPF, it only shows your professional military education. The DD-214 technicians populate the form with the remaining training that is updated in the Military Personnel Data System, known as MIL-PDS. We often receive requests to include unauthorized information on the DD Form 214, AFI 36-3202, separation documents, outlines the specifics on preparing this form. The only types of training included on the DD Form 214 are professional military education and formal in-service training. These formal training courses directly correspond to Education and Training Course Announcements Catalog. Each of these courses include a code which is updated in the MIL-PDS. Since MIL-PDS is used to populate the training area of the DD Form 214, it is imperative that you ensure your eligible training is updated prior to your retirement date. Further, you should be aware that we are required to omit ancillary and combat training courses on the 214. With the 214 being a DoD document, we must remain in compliance with the government directives and policies. Please understand that we cannot accept training certificates submitted by you via email for inclusion on the DD Form 214, since there is no way for us to verify the certificate's authenticity. Therefore, it is key for you to ensure all of your training is updated in MIL-PDS. Please contact your military personnel flight or the Total Force Service Center for assistance in updating your training information. Please note that the virtual MPF DD-214 application will not allow you to start a DD-214 worksheet until you are within 6 months of your retirement date.
When the DD-214 is finalized, a DD-214 tech will send you an email via MyPERS informing you that the DD-214 has been completed. The final DD-214 will be available on the first business day following your retirement date. Since the DD-214 is processed electronically, it is extremely important that you have a personal email in the system. You should update your personal email address in the virtual MPF to make sure it is available. DD-214s are not mailed and must electronically receive it from virtual MPF within 60 days of your retirement. Instructions are provided by the Total Force Service Center DD-214 tech on several occasions starting approximately 30 days prior to retirement. Safeguard the original DD-214 is processed electronically and comes out as a PDF file. You should save a copy of the file on your personal computer. If you need to request a copy of the DD-214 or any other documents in your product record, you can log on to the VA e-Benefits website and request it. Note that PRADA does not contain members' copies 1 through 4 of the DD-214, only the service copy. Your copies of the DD-214 must be retrieved from virtual NPF within 60 days of the retirement. Periodically, the Total Force Service Center receives calls from veterans requesting a certified true copy of the DD-214. Please be advised that contrary to popular belief, there is no such thing as a certified true copy of the 214. The signed copies you print on your local computer in that 60-day windows, copies 1 through 4, are valid and should be accepted by all interested agencies. In the event that a particular agency requires additional certification, we encourage you to take your original DD-214 to a notary and have them make a copy of it and notarize it. It is extremely important that you do not relinquish the original DD Form 214 to anyone, as it is the only original in its existence.
AFPC currently has 7 technicians dedicated to assisting you with the completion of your DD Form 214. You will be sent an email via virtual MPF approximately 30 days prior to your retirement date. The initial email is a reminder to initiate the DD 214 if you haven't already done so. It is important that your contact information like your email address, phone number, and mailing address are current in the virtual MPF. If you have questions on your DD 214, you should contact the Total Force Service Center at 1-800-565-0102 or DSN 665-0102. If the customer service representative cannot answer your question, you will be transferred to the DD 214 technician working your case. Following the initial email reminder, the technician will prepare your DD 214. Once completed, the technician will push the DD 214 over for your review. Once the technician sends the DD 214, you can access the form via virtual MPF. If you are on terminal leave, contact the A1 service desk at 210-565-5004, extension 1, to obtain a temporary user ID and password to access your DD 214 via your home computer. The user ID and password are good until 60 days after the effective retirement date. You will be able to review the form and either approve it or submit the requested changes. When you submit changes, the technician is notified via email of the requested changes. The technician will review the request and either make the changes or respond to you with the reason the changes cannot be made. Once you approve the DD 214, the technicians are ready to finalize it. However, since the worksheet isn't a legal document, they are not allowed to start digitally signing the actual DD 214 until a week before the retirement date. Once signed, your technician will notify you that the form is final. Although your DD 214 may be finalized prior to your retirement, it is not available on the virtual MPF until your retirement effective date. You can access copy 1 and copy 4 through the virtual MPF up to 60 days following your retirement date. After that, you may access the military service copy 2 through the eBenefits website using the link shown here. To access copy 2, you must register for a premium account on the eBenefits website. Remember to download copies 1 and 4 of your DD 214 from the virtual MPF within 60 days of your retirement. Copy 2, available through the eBenefits, contains the same data as your copy 4. However, some veteran support programs or agencies insist receiving a version of copy 4. If you need help with your DD Form 214, please contact the Total Force Service Center at 1-800-525-0102 or 665-0102.
Today, we touched on several items of interest following approval of your retirement. This briefing is not designed to replace your local relocation processing briefings or TAP or transition assistance programs. However, we did want to point out several items that might interest you. It is important that you review all the information relating to your out processing and complete all required actions to avoid any delays in your departure. Additionally, there are many resources available to you during your final out processing. Please contact your military personnel flight or Airmen and Family Readiness Center for more information. You may also contact the Total Force Service Center for assistance.
If you need more information, please contact us as soon as possible. We can be reached at any of the numbers you see here today or through our organizational emails. At this time, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns that pertain to the information presented today, please feel free to type them in and we will begin to answer them as quickly as possible. Remember, the slides are now available for download and will be posted on the AFPC website.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to give us a second here to get situated, and we'll start to answer your questions live. Stand by.
Okay, good morning. This is Ann Lacey from Retirement Policy, and we'll be answering some of your questions today. The first one comes from Lieutenant Colonel Roberts. Does this unused leave get automatically sold at the end, or do we have to talk to finance to sell it back? That's typically done automatically. DFAS will look at your terminal leave, permissive TDY, etc., figure out what you have left over, and if you've never sold or the amount you need to sell doesn't take you over the maximum, then they will automatically include that in your final paycheck. Okay, question from Chief Olmac. If you have a 0.5 accrued leave, is that rounded up for terminal leave calculation? Actually, they will calculate in half-day increments, but for more information, I recommend you talk to your finance office about that final calculation. Okay, another question from Master Sergeant Ojeda. Since you can work in your civilian job on terminal, I guess this is a comment from Sergeant Ojeda to Lieutenant Colonel Roberts about final leave settlements. Okay, question from Lieutenant Colonel Dye. Do you earn leave while on terminal leave? Yes, as we said in the briefing, you do earn leave 2.5 days for every month that you serve up till your retirement effective date. Okay, question from our Facebook Live. Is permissive TDY automatically given to you, or is it personnel moving to another location? Actually, permissive TDY is authorized or can be authorized by your commander, even if you're remaining in the local area. You need to discuss your plans with your commander, and your commander will let you know what the feasibility of getting that approved is. As we said in the briefing, approval is dependent upon whatever your unit's mission status is, and they can approve some, all, or none of your request. Okay, question from Master Sergeant Waldo. Can you combine Skillbridge, PTDY, and terminal together, e.g. 30 days Skillbridge, 20 days permissive, 70 days terminal leave for 120 days total? As we said in the briefing, you can be absent if approved by your commander. You can be absent up to a total of 180 days from your unit. And that would include your permissive TDY, in your terminal leave, and your time in your Skillbridge. Permissive TDY is taken separately from the Skillbridge program. and terminal leave can be taken concurrently with it. Okay, another question from our Facebook Live audience. What was the number to get the temporary username and password for access to the virtual MPF? And that's going to be, you can call the Total Force Service Center, or you can call them at DSN 665-5004. Question from Wesley Hauser. If I don't have a permanent retirement address for my DD 214, can I just use a friend's or parent's address and change it later? Yes, actually, we need to have an address that, if you don't have a permanent address, it should be someone that knows your whereabouts that we can contact you through. So a parent or a friend who has knowledge of where you're going to be after you retire would be great. Okay, question from Master Sergeant Griggs. Regarding Skillbridge, can terminal leave with CSP Skillbridge program be taken separately prior to the start of Skillbridge, same as permissive leave, instead of concurrently, ensuring not to exceed 180 days total? Yes, as we stated before, you can take a total of, be absent from your unit up to 180 days, and that can be a combination of permissive TDY, your terminal leave, and your participation in the Skillbridge. If you want to spend more time in the Skillbridge program, depending on the length of that particular company's program, you may need to take your terminal leave concurrently, because your terminal leave has to be taken prior to your retirement effective date. Okay, question from Facebook Live from Jason Carter. Do we have to wait until after our retirement date to start a federal job, or can we start work on terminal? Well, you need to talk to the folks in civilian personnel about that. Last we heard, there was a 6-month wait on starting a federal or civil service job, but there are waivers to those programs. So be sure to you can contact this civilian personnel through the Total Force Service Center, and they can give you more information on that. Question from Master Sergeant Mazzarelli. When is your retirement checklist released in virtual after orders are received? You need to contact your MPF, and they will set up your virtual out processing checklist once you've been approved for retirement. Okay, question from Antonio Archuleta from Facebook Live. PTDY, can it be split up? Does it have to be taken at the end or before terminal leave? Permissive TDY can be split up, but you can't take like 2 consecutive Monday through Friday periods. You can work that out with your commander, and you can take it either before or after, well, before your terminal leave. Terminal leave is intended to be the leave taken up to your retirement effective date. So your permissive TDY would be taken prior to that. Okay, question from Tech Sergeant Delahunt. Is there a different POC for retiree pay? Actually, yes. The Defense Finance and Accounting Service, or DFAS, has 2 different sections. Your active duty pay is handled by DFAS Indianapolis, and your retire pay is handled by the office in Cleveland. If you go out to the DFAS website, there are phone numbers for each agency, and they'll direct you to the appropriate one if you call their toll-free number as well. Okay, question from Michael Smith on Facebook. At what point does the member input terminal leave in LeaveWeb? You would want to talk with your unit about that and discuss that with your commander. But typically, once you're approved for retirement, then you can enter that into the LeaveWeb program. Okay, question from Lieutenant Colonel Austin. Where do I find the official retirement orders? Virtual MPF doesn't show it. Prada has a copy, photocopy. Well, your MPF should have received a copy through the product distribution. However, the copy that is in Prada is an official copy as well. Okay, we're going to take one more question. I know there's a lot out there, and we will post answers to all the questions as soon as possible on the MyPERS website, but we're running out of time, so we're just going to take one more question. Okay, question from Lieutenant Colonel Overly. How early can we apply for permissive TDY and terminal leave? Well, as we mentioned in the briefing, once you are approved for retirement, then you should discuss your plans with your commander regarding how much terminal leave and permissive TDY you expect, if you want to participate in the Skillbridge program. And then the sooner that you do that, the better your commander will, the more time your commander will have to make a decision on that. Again, everything, permissive TDY, terminal leave, and participation in the Skillbridge program are all dependent upon your unit's mission and the status of your unit and manning. So your commander needs to look at all of that carefully before making a decision on your permissive TDY, terminal leave, and the Skillbridge. Okay, well, I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to answer all your questions, but we will write all these answers out, talk with the appropriate agencies if we can't answer the question, and we'll get these posted to the MyPERS website as soon as possible. Thanks again for participating today. And if you have any questions that you need an answer to right away, feel free to email us at the addresses shown on the screen.